Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Cloud Lunch and Learn session. I am your moderator today, Dwayne Natwick. Today, we are going to learn about processing documents by Azure Services. And thank you very much. Keep following Cloud Lunch and Learn on our different social medias. We're live right now on YouTube. So if you have any comments, any questions, please leave them in the comments section, and we will be able to see them and get them to our presenter. But without any delay, let me introduce and welcome Michaela to join us today and present on processing documents by Azure Services. Take it away. Thank you.
Thank you for introduction. Yes, hello everyone. My name is Mykola Kalameets. I'm a solution architect and application security lead at the Nix. And today I will present you very presentation about processing documents and business needs and so on by the Azure. So our agenda for today, it is introduce Azure Services itself. So what Azure provides us, what Azure can do, and big area here. So it is a really big topic, and we can talk about it maybe hours or days. So today we will focus only on Azure AI document intelligence. I will provide you information, a very high level and overview of this service. Also, we'll talk about pipeline architecture and serverless approach. So, first of all, about Azure AI and AI itself. Today, we are hearing about AI from different places. Sometimes it is a noisy, but it is our reality for today. And each day we see new releases from the big companies. On this week, we saw new models from the OpenAI. We know that Google provides new model, and we see that business is focusing on integrating new AI models, new AI powers in the business. So today we are talking about how Azure and Azure AI services can help with it. First of all, I want to tell you about that possibilities or features or benefits from the using AI services from the Azure. First of all, it is accessibility and ease of use. In this point, we need to understand that first step of using Azure services, it is not don't need to know about machine learning stuff. You don't need to know about some mathematics, some algorithms, some data science. No, here very easy to start, easy to do first step with this integration, because it is a service. It is not some tools for creating new models. It is a ready source, and you need to just integrate it. Next point, it is a scalability. Big challenges sometimes provides big performance, good solution with a good performance for the user, from the system, and Azure take care about it, and you need just to configure it and use your limits that you need, and that's all. And you need to just to cover by it, and that's all. Wide range of services. Here you can read that Azure offers a lot of the services from the different areas. Of course, you can use already built services, cognitive services, bot services, but you can also use different services for machine learning stuff, for crafting your own model your own solution around AI, around machine learning for your needs. Next point, integration and interoperability. You can integrate your application with the Azure AI in the different places. So you don't need to use Azure stack, Azure full stack. Yeah, you don't need to use web app functions and so on, so on. You can start use only Azure AI services, because this list of the services provides API for communication with it. And you need to call this API by the different ways. Yeah, of course, you need to provide maybe some files, link on files, specific data, and so on, so on. But in general, you don't need to care about a lot of the stuff with the communication with this model. You don't need to wrap somehow. You just call by the HTTP this service and receive some information, receive some result working on this model. It is really easy to do. And next in the list, and last in the list, but it is not the last by the majority, it is a security and compliance stuff. Today, security is a big challenge sometimes, because you can see that big companies is hacked, and you can see that data breaches is a lot. I don't know, maybe last big example, it is about Dell, yeah, that stolen around millions accounts data, personal information data. So we need to care about it. And Azure offers closed solution and guarantees that your data will be secure and major here, compliant. What are the services exist in this list? First, from my presentation, yeah, it is a conversational services. It is a bot service plus some cognitive services. It is a simple example that you can configure your channels, your I don't know, your inputs that will be received by your bot intelligence, and you just configure what exactly channels will be used and provide for your users. User can type or can take a image or can speak with this bot by the different channels. This bot intelligence will process this data, this conversation, and make a decision what exactly need to do. Because you can start a big list of the process based on this decision, based on this data. For example, I don't know, maybe question and answer maker. You can predefine list of the questions that user can ask, and you can predefine list of the actions based on these questions. It is really nice, really helpful for some customer support, for I don't know, maybe some market, and you can answer on the popular questions. Next here, and really impressed me, it is Azure Search. Here you can create a powerful search engine by the different type of the data. So you can prepare some PDF, some docs, some structured data, unstructured data, and create some by different processes. Yeah, you can create different JSON documents, and you can use these JSON documents for searching. And it is really impressive that it is not a big deal. It is not a big effort from the development, from the IT part, and you can provide your end customers, business users, really good solution for searching. Also, Azure Cognitive Services. It is a big list of the different services. Here, really good example, and really that I did before. It is a face API, face recognition stuff that you can create an app, for example, for business, for image host. Yeah, so you can have application where you can upload list of the images, big collection of the images, for example, from the some event, team building, some, I don't know, for example, team building. Yeah, and you want to see picture where you are, and for that you can take a picture yourself, upload in this app, and say that please find me in this event, and Azure can return list of the images with you, and or closely to you by the algorithms. Yeah, but you don't need to write this search engine. You don't need to store this big amount of the data for face recognition, face identification stuff. I mean, points of the eyes, mouth, and so on, so on. You don't need to care about it. You just to upload this this big list of the images, and you can just take a picture yourself and try to find. It is really easy to do, and it is scalability and so on, so on. So you don't need to care about a lot of the not relevant to business stuff. And today we are talking about more about document intelligence. Three big bullet points about this service. It is a document analysis. So this service will help you with the document analysis. This service can extract some data from your file and return a different type response. So if you have some table, checkbox, some different layouts, this service can extract this data and marked or labeled by the different rules. What are the rules? For example, if you're talking about pre-built models, it is a models that are trained by Azure for the very typical or simple use cases. For example, it is a identification documents, it is invoices, it is healthcare, and so on. So it is I will share this list with you, but you can understand that it is a very trivial or maybe popular documents, and Azure can extract data from them right now. So you just start use it. You don't need to train, you don't need to label, you don't need to do anything. You just start use it. And as usual, ready service is not enough, and it is a usual case. Yeah, and you need to prepare your custom model, your custom labels, you custom something, and this service provides you ability to do that. You can train your own model, you can change rules for labeling data, you can combine some different types of the models. I will show you later about it. And first of all, about pre-built models. It is a short list. I didn't add here some specific data for accounting, some specific model, I mean, specific for business, for the financial stuff. It is a more important or maybe more popular models for me, especially. It is invoices, so you can extract data from the invoice, some I don't know, maybe some account stuff, taxes, and so on. The same for receipt. You can, based on this model, you can automate some processes related, for example, customer loyalty program, merchandise return processing, taxing automated. So it is a really helpful tool here. Next one is identity. Of course, in the different area, you need to understand that this person, it is a this person, and you can do that by the, for example, identity service. So you can extract data from this identity, understand that this registered person, it is a this person, and you can validate it. You can confirm it by the automatically. Next, it is a health insurance that you can automate some process for pharmacy staff, for doctors, for nurse, and so on. So it is a really good service for automating this process and extract data from the credit or debit card as well. So you don't need to do something. You can just take a picture and process it. Not a big deal. But sometimes business needs some unique case, some unique document, some unique way for processing this document. And here you have a different ways for it. Of course, you can try to create your own model from the scratch, prepare tons of the data, prepare system for hosting, and so on, so on. So a lot of the stuff you need to do. Or you can use the same service, but you can customize this template, for example. So first way, if we're talking about Azure document, you can customize this template. So you can tell that this label, actually it is this label, or we need to extract this data by this way. It's a great choose for you if you need to change understanding template itself, or you can create this template itself. It is a work with a very structured, semi-structured data, and it is a very clear for vision, common layouts, and so on. In this case, it is a good choice for you. Another case, when you have very unstructured data, it can have a different, very, very different structure case by case. So it is this document by this document can have different structure. And this training custom neural, it is a more difficult, because you need to prepare the data, you need to prepare data set, and you need to train your new own model in scope of this service. But in case when your document just have a little bit different layouts or data structure, you don't need to prepare a lot of the documents. You don't need to prepare a lot of the data for training, because your pre-built model is ready for for it and helpful on the usual use cases, And next and last here, it is a custom composed. Here you can combine different models together, and you can create a different behavior based on these different models. It is a great solution when you processing different types of the documents, and you can just use this service and don't care about understanding what is the type, what is the input, what is the user. You know that this model will return this type and extracts detailed data from the document. And okay, AI helps with the understanding and with the extracting data, but around this model, around AI, we need to build infrastructure. And here I want to share pipeline architecture, but it is just a different types of the event-driven architecture, and I will tell you why. This architecture based on the event-driven and based on that some component, some engine will start doing something by the event. For example, we have engine 1. For example, it can be input API, for example, yeah, and user sends document, and this engine will store somehow it and send event to another engine for processing this document or for processing this information, the data by somehow. And after this processing, we need to not send notification. We need to store result of the data in another database, and so on, so on. So different use cases can be here. But we send another event, and we can build this chain, build this pipeline by the different rules based on your needs. And very important here that in this pipeline, output from the one engine will be input for another one, and so on, so on. So we can move step by step and doing this process by this flow. So it is about pipeline architecture and how serverless approach helps us here. First of all, and feature or benefit of the serverless approach that it is event driven, of course. Next, it is auto scaling, based that we have no state in this engine, each engine. We can scale it by the instances as neat as, I don't know, as possible. And based on this, we can improve, we can increase our performance, our systems. And on the other hand, it is a cost efficiency. So we will not spend more resources than we need, because we are starting doing something on events, on the loaded, on the documents, on the requests from the users. And operational efficiency. So we can encapsulate some business logics, some business needs in the different components, different engines, and we know that this engine is responsible for this one, and that's all. But of course, from the benefits, from the feature, we will face with some challenges. And first challenge, it is a cold start. In different triggers components, for example, Azure Function, Lambda, Cloud Run, we know about this term about cold start. It means that we can send first I mean for some period of the time. For example, 1 week system is hold and user sent first request. And this request will be processed by the long time period because we faced with the cold start. That means that these functions will run from the scratch, uptime, configure somehow, isolate some machine, and so on, so on. So this process is a long. Uh, it depends. Long. I mean, takes some time, But after this first request, next request will be processed faster. But it is a challenge, and if it is very important for you, for your business, for your needs, you need to keep in the mind about it. Next one, it is a vendor log. So if you build Azure function that will be triggered by blob, you cannot to migrate on the on-premise. You cannot to migrate on the AWS by the easy way. I mean, of course, you can reuse some components, you can reuse some code, but you need to rework about infrastructure layer here, of course. And next one, it is a complexity in monitoring and debugging. Of course, you can easy to run some smaller piece of your system and debug it. But when we're talking about full process, full flow, you need to run all the components. You need to connect to each components and debug it. I cannot say it is a big challenge, but it is hardest than you run it in one app, for example. And examples where serverless is working. It is a RESTful API, it is a real-time stream processing, and so on. So where we doesn't have any state in the components, it is a serverless. And it is an example of my pet project for processing documents. It is architecture, and honestly, the same architecture we did in the few projects because it is very simple and understandable, and it is working. So here we have a usual simple API. It is a, for example, ASP.NET Core application for retrieving information, data, files for the clients. It can be clients, I mean, desktop app, UI app, doesn't matter here. We can store some information in the database. In this case, it is a Cosmos DB. And we will store file itself in the blob. And I have created function for triggering on the blob. I recognize data in the document, send in the queue for processing, process this file based on some business rules, and so on and so on and so on. I will show you more details about this flow here. So it is a most important part here. It is a pipeline. This I will describe this pipeline processing. So again, first step, API app will create a blob recognition engine, recognition function will trigger it on the blob and process it. In our case, it is a recognition and extract data from the document and send this information, this data in the queue for processing this document. Processing engine triggered by this trigger on this message and process it by the different business rules. It can be static rules, it can get some data from the database for processing, and so on. So it doesn't matter here. We know that this engine, this component, will process this document by somehow. And processing engine will send result of the processing in the topic here, because we can have a different type of the result. So we can receive a successful result, that this document recognized it successfully. We have enough information for business processing. Processing is successfully, so this document has legal and valid data, valid information for some business rules. Yeah. If not, we can send this message, this event in the failed topic and process it somehow by the another way. And last one here, that store result engine. In this case, we can expand this component by the different rules, by the different logics here. So we can store information about processing. We can trigger another queue, another function for sending notifications about the processing result, and so on, so on. So a lot of the stuff we can do that here. And more important here, that it is really clearly and understand what's going on in your system step by step. And if needed, each component can be scale up by automatically as needed. So it is a really cool and helpful here, that you don't need to care about it. You don't need to care about management stuff here. And you are focusing only on the writing your code, your business needs code. And based on this pipeline, based on these rules, we can have another case when you don't need to recognize this document, because it is my simple example. User just to update the business rules somehow, and we need to recalculate full result based on these changes. For example, it can be changed percent of the commission of the system. I don't know. For example, we changed these business rules from the user side, yeah, and we don't need to recognize the document, because documents are not changed. This information, the same document, is old, and data still is valid in your system about the documents. You need to just somehow recalculate this data. So we can don't trigger blobs. You don't need to store blobs again. You don't need to trigger recognition engine again. Just to send message in the queue for processing documents and skip some steps. So important point here, that when you work with this flow, you faced in these cases when you need to skip something. And this pipeline really show you and really flexible for that. So you can start your flow processing, your pipeline process from the different steps. Just to send message in this queue with enough information about this process. It is really easy and really helpful for business, for some business rules and so on. And more important point for our customers, it is a performance and price and performance. It is a really important for customers, for business, understand what we have based on some price. And here I want to show you example, and absolutely it is a very approximately, and it is very related to my pet project. But anyway, I have these numbers and I want to share it with you. You can see here that in the bottom line, horizontal line, count of the images, and vertical it is a dollars per month. And you can see that in the start we don't need to pay a lot of the money because system is hold is off, and only one API service is running in this case and spend some money. But when you start use it, and this this price is increasing very linear and very I don't know, scary for the clients and for me as well. But it is related to changing some limits related to pricing of the document AI service and queues. And after you faced, I believe it is around 10,000 documents per month, this price is stabilized. And you can see that with increasing count of the documents that you will process, price will be linear and very predictable. And you can see that if you processed almost 100,000 per month, you will pay around 516 or 17, around this one. So I don't know, 100,000, it is a really big number of big count, big numbers of the documents that you will process by your system. And I believe that not each business will process the same numbers per month, of course. And it is a very cheap here when you have some seasons for your business. For example, you need to prepare some quartal reports. And once per 3 months, count of the processing will be biggest than previous 3 months. And you don't need to care about scaling stuff. You don't need to pay some money for DevOps or somebody from the IT department, admin, for manually scale your system by this season. You don't need to do that because serverless approach helps you to do that and do it automatically and very cheap. So final or bottom line of my presentation here, that first of all, Azure Services, especially AI services, offers a big list of the toolkit of the services that can help you your business from the ground up. Of course, in case if you need to customize, if you need to some very custom solution, Azure helps you as well here, because you can create some LM ops processes. You can use services for machine learning stuff, pre-built models, and so on, also about architecture, about infrastructure around these models. You saw that pipeline architecture is not related only for AI. honestly. It is a really good solution for big amounts of the processing steps. So if your business is related for step-by-step processing, I suppose, and you need to scale up by some reason, you know that it is not just a uh, mathematics operation plus one plus one plus one. No, if you know that you need to process it by somehow with the different inputs data from the different third-party integration in around this action in your flows, you can encapsulate it in this component and you can manage it separately and build your pipeline with the different steps in your system. And here, last point, that serverless approach, especially when we are talking about Azure functions or different serverless solutions, very important here that you are focusing only on writing code for your business needs. You don't need to manage it. You don't need to create difficult load balancers or I don't know, and so on, so on. Yeah, you just care about business needs and you are focusing on the business needs and writing correct and write code for your product. And that's all. So it is my last slide, and that's all from me. I really happy to answer on your questions, continue conversation if you have it by the social media or mail. You can ask me about anything. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, Mikola. Yeah, there weren't any comments that came through on the on YouTube. We do have some people that did that are live. It looks like watching, so we can, if anybody has any questions or anything, again, feel free to post in the YouTube comments. But if you are not don't have any today, but you're watching this on demand or have any questions later on, again, like feel free to post a question or comment in the YouTube channel, or as Mikola has given the QR code to reach out to him directly to get those questions answered. So thank you very much to you, Mikola, for presenting today. Great presentation. And thanks to everybody that supports and watches Cloud Lunch and Learn. I believe we will have another session, other sessions coming up in the next couple of weeks. So thank you very much for attendance. Go to cloudlunchlearn.com to find out upcoming sessions and where they are. They're usually live on YouTube every week, but they do slide in terms of times based on where our presenters are located, being that we have global presenters from around the world. So thank you very much again, Mikola, and everybody
Thank you very much.
this Cloud Lunch and Learn presentation.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
For this event. You too.